Any discussion?
Like Mr. documented here, the council twice voted, both on November 1st by a vote of 5-0, and then again on March 6th by a vote of 4-1 to implement a 10% budget reduction for the mayor and all members of the city council for this current year. That has not been fully implemented. It's been voted upon twice, it's been passed twice. The resolution now before you, which has been offered, is to direct the city manager to complete that process for all of those who have not complied with that. That's
Mr. Ramirez?
Reduce the fiscal year 207-208 budgets of the mayor and each council member by at least 10%. I think we had a very long city council meeting Tuesday night, and we talked about being bold, and we talked about showing leadership, and we talked about making a difference and being representative.
You'll get an opportunity.
My goodness, if we can't do that for ourselves, to illustrate in the time that we have the most economic challenge, then I think that's really.
We've got something coming up for you, Mr. Rindone. You're going to have the opportunity to do that. But I mean, we're actually kind of getting into a technical question here about this. I mean, when we were going through those cuts, and we were going through all of the departments, and were any of the other departments cut, that are even asked to bring back cuts for that fiscal year that were greater than 10% for the entire year? Wasn't the point of it to look at the second half of the fiscal year and make those adjustments? And we didn't know that we were in this financial crisis last year. I mean, we hadn't dealt with it in the way we, you know, I mean, I suppose we began to know, but we made the cuts. I think the cuts that we were making were to affect the second half of the fiscal year. Is that not right? Is that not what we froze?
We froze what the council authorized us to freeze, not to reduce the gap that had been identified in the current budget.
You know, you raised it with some technicality.
Well, no, Mr. But
I think to be fair.
You allow me to finish, please.
Okay.
I think we really have to lead by example. We have to be bold. We have to be assertive. We have to be dynamic. We have to show that that's applicable to us. And the time is now.
Okay, are you done?
I'm done.
Okay. Because the fact is when we cut the budget and the council, the city council and the mayor's budget was part of the budget cutting the VRT, and we cut, and again, I think it was fair also to put the budget cuts, the lists up, because essentially when we decided to cut, we were told by budget management that it was 10% from half of the fiscal year.
that's right.
I mean, essentially, that's what we did, because if you recall, we cut $15 million from the full year, which we've been talking about, and we cut half the fiscal year. Now, if 2 council members and mayor want to cut more, that's fine. But I think that there's an implication that that Councilmember Ramirez and myself did not do what the council voted to do. That's fundamentally wrong. Now, I'm going to continue to cut my budget. There's no question about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the implication that we did not cut our budget in accordance with the council direction and in the spirit of the way we cut the rest of the budget is false.
You know, it was my hope when Mr. Miller opened up the session tonight. We look at bringing this council together and to do what needs to be done. And I was hoping, to be real candid, Mr. Castaneda and Mr. Ramirez, one or both of you step forward and say, you know, you're right. And we just, instead of having a resolution adopted and passed to direct the city manager, we will do what has been the intent both times.
I think that, you know,
that
Mr. Rindone, you asked.
Let me finish, please.
Well, I have the floor here. Because
I thought I was talking, I was speaking. Okay, you finish and then I will.
Well, again, what I'm saying is that what we voted on was not what you did, and I applaud you. And I did not say, and I don't think I have said, that I'm not gonna continue to cut my budget further. I think what the real issue is that there is and again, I heed what Mr. Miller said, but there's a political implication that we didn't do what we voted to do. And that is not factually correct. And I think that is, in its spirit, not working together. I think that when you know, my city council aide went to Mr. Benito and said, what do we need to cut? We were told what to cut. And we cut it. Now, if there's a fundamental agreement, again, I don't have a problem with that. But I think that there's an implication that somehow or another we didn't do what we agreed to do. And that's what I get from the spirit of your resolution. I don't have a problem. I'll cut my budget right now. I don't care. But the thing is that what we're really talking about are two different things. We're talking about a voluntary cut versus a cut that this council basically made. Now, we all made that cut. And then I think there were subsequent cuts that 3 members made. And that's all well and good. And again, I don't have a problem complying with that. But the issue is that's not what we voted on. So I think that we need to be very clear about what the council did and what they did not do. And that's all I'm saying. So I'm, again, I have not said I'm not going to cut my budget or I'm not going to comply. I haven't said that at all. But I think that really what we have to do is we have to be honest with the public. Because I think that there's an intent to create an impression that Councilmember Ramirez and I did not comply with the council direction. So, that's it.
Mr. McCann.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just think we need to get past this issue, so I'm going to call for the vote.
And the vote is the resolution to direct the city manager to, let's see, resolution of the City Council, City of Chula Vista, directing the city manager to enact the City Council budget recommendations, meaning a 10% cut for the entire year for the remaining 2 council seats.
I'd like to respond. I know the vote's been called, but very clearly that was what was articulated. That's what's on tape. If you'd like to see that, fine. If you want to proceed with the vote, but you're correct, Mr. McCann. We need to move forward, and we don't want to have any appearance that not all of us are providing the leadership that we want to do, and so I will be very pleased to see us have this done and completed and move on and finish working up the concerns for the 08-09 year. Thank you.
I'd ask the clerk to put this up on the screen.
Madam Mayor, so we're going to continue the discussion, or?
No, the vote is to approve the resolution. That's the motion, and there's the second. Approve the resolution that Mr. Rindone submitted.
There's a call for the question. Are we going to have more discussion? Or?
No, actually, we called for the question, so I'm going to ask everyone to please vote.
Oh.
The city manager has so been directed